Shaq does not open up to a woman when he's in a relationship.
Open up to a woman?
Yeah.
Never. No, never.
To just consciously decide that this is not anything I would ever do with any woman, and more than likely it's informed from something 35 years ago, that's an illness. That's a problem. The men are unwell and unserious.
Yo, this is the Inflection Collective. All of us are connected, reflective, real life perspective, respected. The banter, the chit chat, no cap is big facts, so kick back. This here is done there, been there.
You know, I got something to say about men talking about relationships. When I tell you, there is nothing that almost burns my hide as much as when men have microphones and they're talking about relationships.
Okay. So you're talking about Shaquille O'Neal, and this was interesting to me because
I'm talking about all y'all, but yeah, right now we're going to talk about Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, I think men are in relationships too. Do we not have a right to say something about?
Continue the clip.
I'm not going to get off track. So Shaquille O'Neal on his podcast, he had Country Wayne, the comedian, on, very funny guy, and they were talking about relationships and how Shaq does not open up to a woman when he's in a relationship, and this is
Country Wayne agreed and concurred.
Well, here's the clip. This is Shaq talking to Country Wayne on his podcast about the reason why he does not open up in his relationships.
You don't think you've ever had someone that you really could trust and really open up?
Open up to a woman?
Yeah.
Never. No, never.
When's the last time you think you've opened up to a woman?
We don't.
Your whole life?
Bro, I'm telling you.
Oh, no.
If they're going to tell you can't.
Because you know why? Because once you do, whenever something go down, they're going to throw it back in your face.
Well, that's why.
That's real.
That's why. So you can't ever.
That's why you crackers, your dad left.
Yeah.
Even business, though. Like, that rule even go for business.
Oh,
like, you stay up, your contracts keep coming. So it's just a universal law.
Eunice, I'll let you take it.
Because one time when he was 12, most men's trauma about women and relationships was formed and informed from when they were little kids on the playground. And they had the devastation of when they were 12 and the little girl didn't like him back or embarrass him in front of the class. And so in our 40s and our 50s, we are reaping the repercussions of a man not healing, not going on his own journey. Now, for most women, our most recent heartache or the thing that most recently informed how we feel about men and relationships probably happened last year.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's the unfortunate part. And beyond that, the way we raise young men in this society, in this country, little boys are not allowed to cry. They aren't allowed to be expressive. They aren't allowed to dance or do whatever could be creative to a child. And so they grow up with a very limited, stunted existence. If you are a human, you have emotions. Do I believe some women have thrown a man's emotions back in his face? Absolutely. But do I believe that woman was raised in the same society that tells folks that men aren't supposed to cry and aren't supposed to be vulnerable and aren't supposed to share? And I'm telling you, every time I see that a man has harmed a woman in the most violent ways, I know he was hurt in some way. And he does not have the tools or the emotional intelligence or bandwidth to communicate. I am hurt. I am scared. I am sad. And so what happens is it then manifests itself in violence against that woman. And so it's not funny or cute to me when men talk about how they don't cry or don't share or don't. Okay, yeah, you're going to be around the wrong people that are going to mishandle you morning, noon, and night. Men, women, you can't trust everybody with everything. But to just consciously decide that this is not anything I would ever do with any woman, and more than likely it's informed from something 35 years ago, that's an illness. That's a problem. The men are unwell and unserious.
I am applauding you, Eunice, because everything you just said was spot on. You went inside of my body, inside my soul, my mind, my emotions, and you spoke directly from me and the things that I've had to learn, because I was that unhealed little boy that hurt women along the way because of that toxic masculinity, because I could not open up, because I could not share my emotions, because I could not share my feelings. When I was 15 years old, talk about this all the time, my first heartache, being at Just Linear High School, the high school we went to, I was with a senior. I was dating a senior, big thing, big time, whatnot. I'm not going to say her name and whatnot, but she hurt me really bad. She hurt me. I mean, I didn't even realize she was hurting me. I got back to school. We was together on Friday, and by Monday we had broken up. I did not know we had broken up. The way I found out we had broken up is because I was walking down the hallway, Just Linear High School, and she was holding another boy's hands. She was holding his hands, and it hurt me. And I saw the entire school see this and look at me. And from then on out, I got in my mind, because I was hurt, I would never put myself in that position ever again. I would never share my emotions with this girl, because on that Friday, I had told a woman, a girl, for the first time that I loved her. I opened up. I mean, it was like Luther Vandross was playing. We was in the car. We was at the football game. We was making out or whatnot. It was the right time. And it felt like deep from my inner gut, my emotions, my feelings. I told this girl, I love you. And she looked at me, and I say this in all sincerity. She looked at me like I had farted in her face, and walked out the car. And I didn't realize
and
that.
every woman that you have met ever since has been paying for what happened to you as a child, in engaging with a child. Everyone was a child then. No one was mature. No one knew how to engage and interact lovingly and caring. But that's still our own responsibilities. And so what's unfortunate, as adults, big age adults, a lot of people haven't done the healing. And so for women trying to engage with men, and I'm somebody that, and I have conversations with my girlfriends. I have girlfriends that don't want to see a man cry. I don't mind seeing a man cry. If something's sad or whatever, I think it's weird if you're not emotional. But I also know a lot of women don't feel that way. I know women who have sons who talk about, the only way my son's allowed to cry is if it's at my funeral. I'm like, that's not healthy. It's a human thing to have emotions and to react. And so I know it's prevalent, but just like women can have ingrained misogyny, just like Black people can have ingrained racism, we have been raised in this culture and society that has done a number on all of us. And as much as we can know something might not be right, we still lead with that bad information. And so it broke my heart to see Shaq say that. It broke my heart for every woman he's ever spent time with. It breaks my heart for women all over the world. You know, I talk about being retired from dating because this is the men that I'm meeting, is when you're there and you're sharing. And again, we all have been hurt. I would say more women have more heartbreaks on the record than men, because once that man had that heartbreak at 15, it wasn't even on the table.
Hold on. Let me stop right there. So let me stop right there. So when you said more women have had more heartbreaks than men on the record, you're right, because men won't put it on the record. Now, because when we get hurt before, we will never be able, and we don't have an outlet. A lot of times,
well, you just said you wouldn't put yourself in that position again, though.
I would no. I said for the longest time, I would not put myself in that position. That's why I went out and I was doing the things I was doing, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get you before you get me. You're not going to cheat on me before I cheat on you. That was my mindset. And at that time, I was hurting. I was crying, man. But there was nobody, no male counterpart I could go to and say, man, she hurt me. Women, a lot of times, if you hurt, man, fucking girl, fuck him, he ain't shit anyway, blah, 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 blah. Let's go eat some ice creams or whatever, blah, blah. You'll have that.
And you know what? That's a 1975 reference, Mike.
No, I'm just saying. No, whatever you do, whatever you guys do, you watch movies, you watch Netflix, y'all cuddle with each other and all that type of stuff like that.
I've never cuddled with a girlfriend.
No, I'm not saying you. There are a lot of women that will cuddle. Well, you know what I'm saying. You actually have a tribe. You actually have someone that you can actually run to of the same sex that will be there for you, that will understand, because maybe they went through the same thing. For men, we hold that in, and that is wrong. So I'm agreeing with everything that you're saying. Maybe we don't have the same type of references or the movements that other people have, but we've seen other people have that. And like I said, it affected me for so many years. Not making excuses. Once again, I always tell you, I don't make excuses for the things that I've done to women because of that. That was me not taking care of myself and not healing my unhealed version of myself to become a better person. It wasn't until I realized what I had done and how it had affected me since I was 15 years old, by the age of 45, like you said, a big age, that this is where that stems from. And this is the reason why I went there, that I started to get help. But even then, the last time I cried in front of a woman, I was like 47 years old. And this is right before I started getting help. I was going through some emotional stuff I didn't even realize. And so I tell you in my book, I had a lot of emotions inside me or whatever. And I was outside, and the girl that I really liked, I teared up, and she said, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Give me a hug." Gave her a hug. But guess what she did? She went back inside and told her best friend and one of my friends, oh, his bitch ass outside crying. Seriously, that made me want to just ball back up again. And here's the problem when you do that. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, because like you said, you have some of your friends who won't allow a man to cry in similar. So I ask the women right now, if you want to see men get better, first of all, men got to take care of themselves. It's their responsibility to make sure that they put in the emotional work necessary, because you're not responsible for their emotional labor. I get that. But if you want to help them and help a better society to get rid of some of this stuff that's out there when it comes to the men and the actions that the men have, not making it your responsibility. So please don't take this the wrong way. Please be more understanding. Just like women have feelings and emotions and they got to let it out, men have feelings and emotions. They got to let it out too. And they need to have a safe outlet. And if that means my girl, I need to be able to let that out to my girl, because if I don't, I'm going to hold it in. And if I hold it in, guess what's going to come out? Toxic masculinity. So you don't want that. So what I'm saying is, what Shaq is saying, what Country Wayne is saying, I pray that these brothers realize that, hey, if you're with this girl and she wants to throw it back in your face, then guess what? You're with the wrong fucking girl.
You with the wrong one. That's exactly it. And that's what I'm saying so many times. And men and women both do it. Someone engages and interacts with us in a way that makes us change who we are. No, that just wasn't the person that was for you. And so the reason why I retired is because consistently I'm meeting men who were successful, who were big ages, but had not done any healing, had not done any work. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to let them take me down to where they are. I've had my heart broken plenty of times. I've had plenty of disappointments, and I take what I can learn from that. And so me and my girlfriends don't eat ice cream and cuddle, but we talk about what happened. And you say, you know what? I see where I went wrong. I see how I made that okay the first time when it wasn't okay. And that's why we got to the fifth time. And so all I can do is say, what can I learn and how can I make this not a choice for me next time? I retired because I never really enjoyed the process. I wasn't having fun dating. I never dated anybody who I was having a great time with. I just decided that, hey, I tend to not be heartbroken when these situations end. I tend to feel relieved. So maybe this is not something that I need to keep engaging with. And that's a whole nother topic for another day, the retirement of dating. I'm sure we'll get into that one day. But as far as, I love that you can articulate your journey. And there are and I know there are so many men who are holding on that hurt from a child that a child inflicted on them. And all of us have to take responsibility for how we engage as adults. No one has anything to do with how they were raised, right? But you do have responsibility for how you move in the world as an adult. And we are all the fabric. All the threads are something that happened to us. And it's just wrong to then inflict pain on someone because someone inflicted pain on you.
Amen.